Is it on? Can you hear me? Okay. Is it on? Check. There we go. I think there we are. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Karen Barenshay, and I'm here to officiate at the celebration of life of our beloved Patricia Joan Cornwall-Jones, as she's known, affectionately known as Pat. And to open today, I'm going to ask our beloved Kerry and Louis to come up and light the candle, as we want to invite the spirit of Pat to come and join us in this space today. Kerry? And now we can say, welcome to you, Pat. Let's feel your energy. Come and join us here. But first, just like to ask everyone, if your cell phones already aren't on silent or off, if you could please do that. That would be great. And thank you, Teresa, for your beautiful entrance music. It was so lovely to come in and hear that sound. Bathrooms and toilets are all down that passage around the corner, for those of you who don't know, and the rest we'll tell you a little bit later. But for now, I'm going to open with a prayer called the Great Invocation. If you know the prayer, you're welcome to say it with me. Let's take a moment to bow our heads in prayer. The Great Invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. Make Christ return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Selah. Again, thank you all for being here at this very special day where we're going to be celebrating the life of our beloved Pat. And I was grateful to Kerry for calling me in to assist her today, because I share such a long history with Kerry, with your family, and having watched young ones be born and grow. And of course, as the cycle of life, as it does, we don't all stay here. We come and we go. And that is indeed a gift in itself. A celebration of life is not a somber affair. Instead, we find laughter through our tears and a joy of a sadness through storytelling, sharing our stories. So the focus isn't on Pat's passing, but rather on honouring her with the joy that she brought to you, to so many other people, her family, colleagues throughout her life. You just have to look at those beautiful photographs of her to see that. It is a time that family and friends, work colleagues come together and just celebrate her unique personality, those special moments and those achievements of Pat's. Pat, we want you to soar. We want you to know that you are so loved. In the book Chocolat by Joanne Harris, she says, and I quote, "Life is what you celebrate, all of it, even its end." And in the words of Victor Hugo, I quote again, "Have courage for the great sorrows in life and patience for the small ones. And when you have laboriously accomplished your daily task, go to sleep in peace. God is awake." Now I'm going to hand over to Kerry to come and share about Patricia. So give her all your love and all your support at this time. Thanks, Kerry. And come share your dedication. Thank you. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, all. Is the sound all right for you? Can everybody hear? Mom, we're here to celebrate you. It's something actually she didn't want. But well, I didn't always listen, did I? It's a privilege to stand here before you and talk about my mom. And a huge thank you to all of you for giving up time to be here in person or wherever you are in the world to link up with us for her. So how do I contain a lifetime of memories in a few moments? I guess the real question is how to frame my mother, a woman that was in a league of her own in so many respects. So a bit of background. Mom was born in Grahamstown on the 1st of January 1937, and had 2 younger siblings, Michael and Elspeth. Their parents divorced at an early age and the children went to boarding school. Mom then changed schools and had done so well she moved up a grade and finished school at 16. It was at the school, the Loretta Convent, that Mom met her lovely friend Audrey, and Audrey has some memories we'll share a little later. Their father remarried and Mom received the gift of 2 half-brothers, Darwin and Shannon, from that union. After school, Mom had wanted to teach and was interested in education, but chose to do nursing instead, as she didn't want to burden her father with tertiary fees, and nursing students received a stipend, meals and accommodation. Mom trained and nursed in Kimberley. She loved what she did, and throughout her life her medical knowledge remained profound. It was during this time that my mom owned a scooter and was always very, very proud to say right up until the end that she had a motorbike license. She had a little dog called Puddles, who our very prim aunt whispered to my mom that perhaps it should be Cuddles. But Puddles it was. And Puddles would travel in the footwell of the scooter with my mom, and when Mom got a bird, the bird in the birdcage would travel with them too. It was quite a thing in those days for women to ride a machine on 2 wheels, but this was my mom after all. My dad was my mom's brother's friend, and a romance ensued between the young Richard and Patricia. When Dad landed a job in then Rhodesia, my mom followed. She remembers crying to her mother before she left, being so scared and telling my gran she'd be back in 3 months, but my gran told her to give it at least a year. Mom recalls how the people were so kind and generous that she slipped into a new way of living like a hand in a glove. When Dad's contract ended and he was to go back to South Africa, he loved Rhodesia so much he resigned, and with his new wife, settled into a different life. Wherever Mom and Dad lived, they made friends. Most friendships lasted all their lives. Tracy was born in Bulawayo after a difficult pregnancy. My mom would refer to her as the good child, who always did as she was told without argument. Her doting grandparents bought her a pony, and my parents rented in Machimslope, which is a suburb in Bulawayo, in order to keep Dopez, the pony, and from then on, wherever the Cornwall-Joneses lived, there were horses. 8 years later, I was born, and life was never as peaceful as it had been in the family after that. Mom was at home for me for a while I was still small, but then began to work. She put both of us, Tracy and myself, into the Dominican convent in Bulawayo, and we both started and completed our schooling there. One thing about Mom, whatever she decided to do, she would do to the best of her ability. She was a most honest person, hardworking and dedicated. As the years rolled by and Tracy had left home, Mum and I would sit at night, and she would either sew, we'd listen to the radio, but we'd spend time together. She had a few close friends who would visit over the weekends. There was always chocolate cake on Sundays for afternoon tea on the front veranda, after we had washed our hair, getting ready for the week ahead. We had a good and simple life in Bulawayo. I finished school and moved out, and a couple of years later, Mum decided it was time to start life all over again and came back to South Africa. She began working in Johannesburg at a retirement village, supervising a cleaning team. She was very well appreciated and a job offer was made to her, but she wanted to settle in Cape Town, where by that time both Tracy and I were residing. The cleaning company had a branch in Cape Town, but it was more of a niche market. Mom threw herself into her work and learned everything that she could. Within a few years, she bought the business and I joined her. We worked together for about 10 years before I changed to work elsewhere. Mom carried on with the business, eventually closing it during COVID at the tender age of 83. It was a very tough choice for her. She'd always been a go-getter and independent woman, but life works out in miraculous ways. In 2001, Mom had a fall and hit her head. Within a year, a growth developed at the injury site, which we found out was malignant. And a very intensive surgery took place by an incredible team at the Groote Schuur Hospital in 2022. All was well for a few months, but the cancer had already spread and developed under her chin, and despite radiation, it began to grow in her throat and later throughout her body. Mum and I moved in together in 2023, and during this time, we delved deep into a lot of talks. Her outer crustiness was the result of a woman who'd been disappointed and hurt so many times that it had become a coping mechanism. Beneath it all lay her gentleness. Mum fought her illness with every fibre within her, as only she could do, and whatever she did with dignity to the very last. My journey with my mother has been indescribable. She was a woman of immense courage, who forged her own path. She was caring and giving. She touched so many lives, and she was deeply loved by those who really took the time to get to know her. Yes, she could be crusty and spicy sometimes, but she was loyal and she loved. Oh, how deeply she loved. And a great love of my mom's was her granddaughter, who brought immense joy and could get away with saying things that I would never have the courage to. Amber adored her nana, and the bond between them was tight. It was a beautiful thing to behold, as Mum would light up when Amber was around. They kept secrets from me and had their own special rendezvous. Mum made a couple of deep friendships in the last months of her life, and through this, all rough edges melted away, and all that was left was her glowing essence. If I had the choice to look after my mum again, I'd do it 1,000,000 times over. She was feisty and had all her faculties to the end. Surrendering over her body for us to care for was too beautiful for words. I remember the softness of her fingers, the feel of her hair, skin, how it felt under my fingers, touching her face, rubbing her feet. Beautiful memories of my cherished mother. Oh, could I have a tissue, please? I forgot to bring one up. Thank you, dear. Thank you. I'd like to read something for all of you that do have your mom still. This was something that I read and did a few months prior to my mom's passing, and it made such a difference to both of us. Mother is a boundless source of love and an inexhaustible treasure, but unfortunately we sometimes forget a mother's the most beautiful gift life offers us. Throughout her life, we only think about our grades and our careers. Our mothers no longer have time to look deeply at us, and we too are too busy to look closely at them. Only when she's no longer there do we realize that we haven't been conscious of having a mother. This evening, when you return from school or work, or if you live far away, the next time you visit your mother, you may wish to go into her room and with a calm and silent smile, sit down beside her. Without saying anything, make her stop working. Then look at her for a long time. Look at her deeply. Do this in order to see her, to realize that she's there, she's alive, beside you. Take her hand and ask her one short question to capture her attention. Mother, do you know something? She'll be surprised and will probably smile. When she asks you, what, dear? Keep looking into her eyes, smiling serenely, and say, do you know that I love you? Ask this question without waiting for an answer, even if you're 30 or 40 or older. Ask her, as child of your mother. Your mother and you will be happy, conscious of living in eternal love. Then tomorrow, when she leaves you, you'll have no regrets. Just give me a moment. For all of you here, Mum and I have felt held during this time. You've held our backs. You've kept us going. You haven't let up or given in. The love kept flowing and we both felt it, and it made a huge difference. You see, Mom didn't believe that she deserved love. And throughout her illness, an impact was made, and by the time she left the world, she knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that she was loved beyond measure. There were so many thank yous, and I'll be in contact individually. The messages, phone calls, visits, food parcels, the catering, the warm hugs, the flowers, and the holding of space. Thank you. Our gratitude is beyond words. There's one more thing I'd like to share. It's a poem about surrender and the beauty of it. The poem is called The River by Julia Fehrenbacher. Pay attention to what opens and closes you, to what grows you hard and melts you soft. These are the maps you've been looking for, maps made of water and rock, breath, fire. If you open all the way up, let every drop of it enter and leave. Enter and leave. You'll find yourself floating in a pool of sunshine. Like that time you held on to nothing and the river caught you in her quiet arms, and for once, you stopped trying. This is what happens when you let it all enter and leave. The river catches you in her quiet arms, and finally, you float. We have a message from Amber, but before we go ahead, there's something I'd just like to explain. Amber recalls a memory, and in it she calls it the purple toilets, okay? But I just need to explain what the purple toilets are. It's a building in Melkbos that's purple. It has public toilets, but it also has the kiosk, and the kiosk is what Amber's referring to.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining the memorial of Patricia Cornwall-Jones. I'd like to start off by thanking everyone for coming today. I do apologize for not being present. However, I am watching you all on live stream, so don't forget to smile and wave, ladies and gentlemen. My Nana was the most independent and strong-willed lady I've ever met. She was a traditional woman, always having her hair and makeup done and being dressed for the occasion. She never smoked or drank, but she was always very well equipped for a conversation on why eating meat is horrible. There was never a favor that was too big for Nana, even if it meant driving her 21-year-old granddaughter to college in the pouring rain and almost driving us off the side of the road. But best believe she was waiting outside the college 10 minutes before I ended, so I didn't have to wait for her. My grandma's favorite story of our time together was when we would drive out to Melkbos and we would get ice cream from the purple toilets, but she always had to request to not put a bubblegum ball in her cone. Afterwards, we'd take a walk on the beach and feed the seagulls. It was one of our favorite things to do. A tradition that we made for my grand's birthday was high tea, just the three of us. We've been to the Table Bay Hotel, the Mount Nelson, as well as the 12 Apostles. I always felt that it was such an appropriate occasion for such a lady. My gran loved telling stories, and I think her favorite one was how her and the rest of the nurses would push each other in the laundry carts around the hospital while all the patients were sleeping. She would always tell me stories of her riding her scooter and mention how she could, only if she wanted to, she could drive Dad's bike. But like a true lady, she always politely declined. There have been so many people that have made such a great impression on her life, and I would like to thank a few of you. I would like to start off by thanking Bussy for being by my grand's side through her last stages. She truly adored you, and you've become a part of the family. Louie and Russell for always being there and sending flowers and messages and gifts when you got the chance. Richard for being so good with my gran and always listening and helping her. Dad for doing the small projects around the house and making light of the conversations. There was always a, Pat, at the beginning of every conversation. And Mom, there are no words to explain how incredible you've been, let alone the best daughter, but moving in with Gran and taking care of her. You fed her, clothed her, and washed her, medicated her, and loved her. I know Gran is our angel, but you are hers. Thank you, and I wish you all a wonderful day further.
Thank you, Amber. I'm so grateful that you can be here through technology. It's really so meaningful. Kiri, you have some more words that you want to share? Please come join us.
I have a message from my mom's friend Audrey. So they met at school together, so it was over 70 years of friendship. Pat and I met in 1950 at the Loreto Convent Sea Point. We were boarders. It was a lovely school, a happy place. The teaching nuns were exceptional, very well qualified. A school for young ladies. So we were blessed. The curriculum was academic. We were very happy at Loreto. Her parents divorced and her mother sent her to Loreto because she was a bit wild and needed to be disciplined. She never told me that, to quote Pat. One of our Easter school holidays, we remained at school volunteering our services in the monastery, at the monastery nursing home in Fresno Sea Point. I think purely to see if the nursing profession would suit us. It was a great experience being a very luxury nursing home. It certainly wasn't harsh like the actual nursing training we both embarked on when leaving school. Pat succeeded in her training, an excellent nurse. She did tell me that there were times she felt she couldn't go on, but Dad insisted and she obeyed. Sadly, I only did 3 years and didn't qualify. Married young and moved to Rhodesia in 1957. During these years until 1963, Pat and I kept in touch per letters. In 1963, Pat and her husband, Corny, that was my dad's nickname, relocated to Rhodesia, Bulawayo. So wonderful that we met up again, and our friendship has continued all these years. Pat has been the most amazing friend. She was so special, considerate, kind, and fun to be with. Truly a God-given friendship. I've been well blessed. I'm happy that my children had the privilege of knowing her as they grew up and now have fond memories of her. These past few months of messaging and a phone call from her when she felt well enough to talk were great. She was really concerned about the world we live in now. Pat loved to chat, always interesting, which was lovely. Her last message to me was on the 28th of the 10th. She was of great encouragement while she herself was suffering so much, an amazing lady. I will miss her so very much. Lots of love from Audrey. Adrian, there is the voice note that I sent you. This is from my friend Min, who lives in San Francisco, and she sent through a message earlier.
It seems I'm here to paint a picture in thank yous, and to set the scene, because this is about Mrs. Cornwall-Jones, Pat. There will be autumn-coloured thank yous with shafts of sunlight shining through. You know her colours. So, thank yous. You see, my main issue in setting out to write about Mrs. Cornwall-Jones is that every time I try to put thoughts and words together, they get washed aside by the wave after wave of gratitude and love that come with having been fortunate enough to have known her. So, thank yous. To start, what has always been first to my mind when I think of Pat are all the ways in which she has guided, supported, encouraged, and cheered for me over the years, from the age of 10, when I first became friends with Kerry. Accumulated words of wisdom from countless conversations through my teens and since that have continued to echo in my ears throughout my life. One in particular that often comes to mind is, "You know, Minnie." They all started with her particular brand of "you know." If you can do something to help someone, you should always do it. It's redirected me for the better on many occasions, so I'm by no means the only one who owes her thanks. Her thoughtful words of advice have been the gift that has kept on giving over the years, and were always delivered firmly, warmly, emphatically, and often succinctly. That delightful range of no-nonsense and silly that she excelled at, that could switch from sternly pulling you up short in an instant to folding you over with tears of laughter in another. That shake of the head, that laugh, the whoop. Thank you. And thank you for all those times hosting tween and then teen me for delicious Sunday lunches, fabulous desserts, and after-dinner lounge evenings of chat and laughter and sleepovers. And even more than that, as the Cornwall-Joneses also then went on to provide me with a loving home away from home for the couple of years that I lived with them as a teen, too, enabling me to not have to change schools and disrupt friendships, extending the time that I got to call Bulawayo home. What generous gifts are those? Thank you so very, very much. But, I now see at this point that there's even more still. I hadn't ever stopped to consider before that Mrs. Cornwall-Jones also gave me my dear lifelong friend in Kerry and my wonderful fairy goddaughter in Amber. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. And yes, my dears, you do indeed have big cloud shoes to fill. But you not only will, according to no less than her, you most absolutely already do. Pat was so proud of you in our phone calls over the years, always filling me in on how special you are and how much she loved you and literally the respect that she had for who you were and how you were going about life. And it makes sense. It's in your blood. It seems appropriate, from the USA where I currently am, that Thanksgiving is approaching this week. Thank you for eternity, for blessing my life in so many ways, Mrs. Cornwall-Jones. All my love, always, Minnie.
Adrian, the song, please. This is a song that Amber has requested to be played here today.
I took the supermarket flyers from the windowsill, threw the day-old tea from the cup, packed up the photo album Matthew had made, memories of a life that's been loved. Took the Garrett Wilson cars and stuffed animals, poured the old ginger beer down the sink. Dad always told me, don't you cry when you're down, but Mum, there's a tear every time that I blink. Oh, I'm in pieces, it's tearing me up, but I know a heart that's broke is a heart that's been loved. So I'll sing hallelujah. You were an angel in the shape of my mom. When I fell down, you'd be there holding me up. Spread your wings as you go. When God takes you back, you say hallelujah, you're home. Fluffed the pillows, made the bed, stacked the chairs up, folded your nightgowns neatly in a case. John said he'd drive, then put his hand on my cheek and wiped a tear from the side of my face. Now I hope that I see the world as you did, 'cause I know a life with love is a life that's been lived. So I'll sing takes you back. You'll say hallelujah, you're home. Hallelujah, you were an angel in the shape of my mom. You got to see the person I have become. Spread your wings and I know that when God took you back, He said hallelujah, you're home.
One more thing. So we had new signage put up this week. My mom, angel wings.
What a beautiful song. Well done, Amber. How beautiful. And the voice is incredible. Gosh. Yeah, we're all needing tissues now. Kerry, thank you for... Do you want to share your words of thanks now? Can I ask Russell to come up first? You've done? Okay, great. Russell Moore-Simon from Netcare. Can I invite you to come forward? We have a beautiful ceremony going to happen now. We're going to come and light a candle, and they're also going to be, I think, playing a song. I mustn't say anything. I must leave them all to be surprised. I'm going to leave it to them. Russell, everything's over to you. Thank you. In memory of you, Pat.
Ladies and gentlemen, family, friends, we gather here today and as nurses we would like to give tribute and acknowledgement to Pat as a nurse. As nurses we know suffering, we are fully aware of how precious each moment of life is. We learn to live well. Nurses are grateful people. Some people only learn about these essential spiritual qualities from traditions of worship. We learn compassion, love, peace, and more by performing our daily work. Nurses are constantly reminded of the necessity of valuing the dignity and worth of every person. As a result, we become better people, our souls are healed, we develop communication skills and open hearts, which make us more loving members of our families. We become tolerant and appreciate the diversity of all the people in this earth. Perhaps that is the biggest benefit of being nurses. We become more caring and honourable people. We will always value the days when Pat and I sat and always spoke about nursing, and she could speak about nursing. You will always be in our hearts. May you now rest in peace with all the other most beautiful angels. Much love until we meet again. For a courageous woman, have the time of your life riding the scooter all around the clouds in heaven. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Wonderful words of life. Just want you to close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to remember a memory of Pat, your favorite memory. It could be your funniest, it could also be your worst. You might have had an argument with her. Whatever that memory is, just see her in front of you, hear her voice. And just in that moment, remember her love, her courage, her sharp words even. But most of all, her compassion and her tenacity for life and her love for you. Just hold that in your heart, because it's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside. We carry that light in our hearts, and that's a way of honoring her as we move forward in life. It's not what's on the outside, but it's what we each carry, and it's when each of us look at each other, see each other, interact with each other, it's that light in each other that we recognize and see. And that is what brings about a wonderful world. We make the world, not stuff. We do. So Pat, you're here to inspire us today. I join in all those voices who've paid her tribute to her dedication to her life. And I'm reminded also of the fact that there's a saying in the Bailey teachings that says, in love, God binds us, and that is eternal. I'm now going to close with a prayer, and then we'll go into a closing. This is a prayer called Remember When You Go. It's by Rebecca Pugh. Remember when you go into the world to keep your eyes and ears wide open, and be kind. Love one another, take care of each other, tell the truth, always do your best. Listen to the big people and to the little people. Explore new paths and have fun. Know that you are loved like crazy. Give thanks for all your blessings. Above all else, love, and you will do wonderful things in this world. Selah. Thank you, everyone, for bringing your heartfelt love, your condolences, your humor here today into this celebration of life for our beloved Pat. You're all invited to join Kerry and her family for light snacks and refreshments. They don't look light. There's a hoard of food out there. It looks really wonderful. And while we listen to, we're going to be listening to Over the Rainbow. While we listen to Over the Rainbow. So Pat Saw, we'll be thinking of you, enjoying this time of honoring you, and thank you again to all of you for being here today. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Kerry. Teresa. Such a beautiful song. So holding Pat in your hearts, time to put food in your tummies. Please go and eat. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you. It's off. Good. Kerry, do you want to take this with you? Or put it wherever your goodies are. Yeah. No, just otherwise it's going to end up on the podium because you won't see it because it's behind. That was so special, Kerry. Well done. Hallelujah. Shame, are you okay, Lugo? I'm just going to pop this in my bag.